Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make informed decisions. Now guys, I used to work for Bear Stearns. I bought my first foreign currency like in 1990. And I founded this channel to help onboard as many people as possible to what I believe is the biggest opportunity in history. And I'd like to share my background knowledge with you guys. And one thing I see in crypto is so much biased misinformation and people that just don't understand the big picture. They don't even understand the game they're playing, but they will tell you really bad information like HODL. Well, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the people that HODL, and I call them the dumb money, and I say that with love. Now, just hear me out, and trust me, guys, this comes from the heart. You know how you can know that? Is because videos like this doesn't grow your channel. It gets the least amount of views, but I'm here to educate my community. Now, I may not make you the most money, but I do promise you one thing. If you hear me out on videos like this, if nothing else, I will save you a lot of money, and those savings will compound throughout your financial history. Now, this is not financial advice, but we're going to talk about how to take profits, when to take profits, is hodling a good thing, or whatever. And I want to explain some stuff with you, so just let me rant away. And we're going to look at some charts. These charts are really irrelevant to which token it is. I don't want to talk about the projects. I just want to show you the charts, because you can go to your favorite token and it's probably going to look like one of these charts. And you need to understand what I want to share with you, or you're going to be like the majority of my crypto coaching clients that come to me because they've experienced a bull run and they watched their wallet explode and they didn't really make any money when it was all said and done. And that's because of that HODL and FOMO mentality. All right, guys, let's get into it. But before we do, hit that like button. All right, I want to explain to you guys about IPOs. Now, some of you may be familiar with how it works. But like when I was at Bear Stearns, what happens is you got a company that is, a private company. It's doing well. Maybe it becomes, a real player in a certain sector, and it decides to go public and say launch on the New York Stock Exchange. Well, it would go to like a Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bear Stearns, like where I worked. And long story short, to make it simple, it's just like an ICO. They basically give the founders a certain amount of money based on what the company is already worth. And so they give them those amount of shares, then they keep a few shares, and then they pre-allocate shares to like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bear Stearns customers. So they all get in early, like at $10, and the owners might get in at $1. Well, then when they launch on the New York Stock Exchange, it explodes 100% of the time. And you have to be an accredited investor to invest in that, because they want to save us, the average person, but it only guarantees the process, and the early people make a huge amount of money. But what happens? Let's say it launches at $10, just like an ICO. It explodes. Maybe it goes to $40, $50, $70. And then they all dump. The majority of them take their profits. And it falls all the way back down to, say, $20. And then we'll see what that company is worth. And it may take them 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to prove that they were worth what they launched at, and they have to validate that they can make those earnings. And then you see what you have. Most of them disappear. In the 2000 .com era, guys, if there was 1,000 companies did that, out of that 1,000, there's probably only 10 still in existence. And it's like deja vu watching crypto. So hear me out, what I want to share with you. Now, what you see on the screen is Amazon. Now, we know it's one of the most powerful companies that have ever existed. Now, check this out, because this is exactly what I want to share with you, among other things. It launched in May of 1997, and it absolutely exploded, pulled back, and exploded again. Now, if you look at this chart, it crashed way down, and it took, guys, 10 years to make an all-time high. And this is one of the best companies in the world. And here's my point. See, they have all that money, right? They got that validation. Well, then the world said, well, go prove to us that you're worth it. Well, it took them 10 years. This is one of the best companies ever created. And it was cutting edge at the time. Now, what's my point about that? Well, I want to show you something. Look at this chart. I'm not even going to talk about whose chart it is, because there's so many that look identical to this. But this is just like Amazon launching. It launches and it absolutely explodes, because the world says, hey, we believe in what you said, but now you got to go back it up. And when you have $1 billion valuation, billions of dollars, you got to prove that the ecosystem or your product or whatever can make money for the investors. And see, now it's not an exact thing between ICOs and IPOs, because most cryptos will never make any money. And this is XRP, and I know people hate when I talk about them, but it's a great example. XRP, and I'm doing this by memory, made $500,000 in commissions last year. How's that going to feed an ecosystem worldwide? It can't. Why would a developer want to build on an ecosystem that has only produced $500,000 in revenue? And most of that revenue goes to Ripple. They're not going to do it. Ethereum creates $500,000 probably a day in fees. So when you run a node or you build on that ecosystem doesn't need funding from another source. And that's very important that you understand that. So that's what I believe we're going to see in crypto, and we are seeing. Now, I went through hundreds and hundreds of tokens to look at their charts, and it gets back to the HODL mentality. Now, another thing before I show you these charts, you know, Wall Street is just like crypto. It's all BS. It's not made for me and you to make money. Average people are only going to make a little money compared to the big boys, the insiders, the smart money. And one scam that they tell everyone is just open up a 401k and HODL and keep dollar cost averaging in for 30 years, and then you'll be able to retire. And yeah, you can, and it does work. But here's why they tell you that. Just like in Amazon, if you look, not one stockbroker told the person in their 401k to take profits. So they waited for 10 years, right, to get back to where they bought in at. And see, the reason it's so important to give you misinformation and get you to HODL is so if I know you're not going to sell, I'm the only one in the room, well, I know to buy the dip because you're my base, right? If any token, it doesn't matter. If it's got a lot of hype and bad tokenomics like XRP or a lot of projects, and the founders and the early investors are in early, and they know Ray's not going to sell, or Joe or Mary are not going to sell. They're just going to hold forever. That means every time it spikes, they can take profits. And if you don't understand that, you're just going to hold and hold and hold. And the odds are you're going to be holding a project that looks like this chart. Now I want you to think about something, guys, and this has nothing really to do with XRP. This is a typical chart, if they're still in existence. But look at this. I want you to think about something. Yes, if you can get in right here, but no one watching this bought XRP down in here. I can almost guarantee it. And if you look at any chart, XRP or anything, the meat and potatoes, yes, the public probably started stacking right here. But look at that, guys. To catch just a 10x from where even a badass bought, right? Which this was life-changing gains right here. But people, if you bought or if you sold, someone bought all the way up. But that whole run is like a month and a half. And if you didn't take those profits, you're waiting 7 years. And the odds are, if you bought anywhere up in here, you may never get your money back. And that's across the board. Again, has nothing to do with XRP. I mean, it does, but it's most projects. Now, here's what you want to see this chart. Here's what you want to see, guys. That's a bull chart. Every year, now this is way back in the day. This doesn't look like much, but that was from, $1 to like $100. So it's like a 100x bump right there. And then it pumps again, pumps again, pumps again, and who knows how high it's going to get. That's the chart. That is a bull chart. This is what the bad ones look like. That's theta. Look at that. Explosive. If you didn't take your profits, probably everyone up in here, which is the bulk of people, they're probably never getting their money back. Look at Internet Computer. The early insiders, it exploded, and it will never get back to that price. All those people that bought as it went up, all the insiders made a ton of money, and that's been 4 years. They'll probably never get their money back. Now, here's what you want to see. This is Solana. Solana came out and it exploded, right, in the last bull run. Well, now that is what you want to see. Yes, this was ugly. And again, who wants to hold? And most people sold. Because, guys, that used to be my biggest bag. I started dollar cost averaging in about right there. And I bought all the way down, and every time I made a video, I remember when it got to like 12 bucks, I made a video. No one watched it. Everyone in the comments, it's a dead chain. It's horrible. But boy, when it's exploding, everyone wants to buy. This is the average thought process of the average person. And I get it, guys, because you're lied to. But look, not many people watching this was buying Solana at 12 bucks. And then when it got up in here at 85 bucks, I bet that the bulk of everyone that owns XRP, or not XRP, Solana, has bought it at $85 and above. And think about it. A 10x is $850. Good luck. Now, here's what you want to do and see, in my opinion. Like, and what kicked off this video was I follow a guy, and he's been through 3 bull runs, right? This is his 4th bull run. He's made a ton of money, and he's as blunt and direct as me, and I love that. And he just was ripping his community, saying, what are you doing buying these old projects? Look at some charts. Are you out of your mind? These things aren't coming back. And he's right for about 90, probably 8% of the tokens that you go look at a chart. And I started looking before we talked lastly about Matic right here. And this chart is the chart. It's not really Matic. is I went back and I looked, and when I looked at the meat and potatoes, like most people didn't buy Matic here, but they did stack there. But if they didn't take those profits there, they rode them all the way back down, and most people probably capitulated down in here. And then most people started buying it up in here. Well, guys, you have a very little time to catch these tops. That's the biggest point I want to make. But here's what I want to show you. This gives you hope. Now, I know this sounds negative, but if you stay with me and you understand the game, it's going to allow you to make money. Now, me personally, outside of Bitcoin, I sell everything bull run. I just trade bull run to bull run. I buy bull run to bull run. I won't own anything after this bull run except my Bitcoin. And I believe, like Michael Saylor, never sell your Bitcoin. However, all for the last year or so, outside of a few ISO tokens that I pitched 2 years ago, which I sold except for my link and my HBAR, and my quant, which I'm about to sell my quant. I say that with love. I love that project. But you want, for the last year, year and a half, I've been trying to get people to buy new projects because that have never experienced a bull run, because they are going to outperform 9 out of 10 of all the older tokens. And here's about where we are now for the great tokens that have been launched, like Ondo or AOS or something like that. This is what you want to see. When they launch, they take off. They pull back, which I believe most projects that are top tier projects, like a lot of the AI tokens, we're down in here right now. And the next leg up is going to look like that if we pick the right horses, right? So, but the point about that is, guys, this stretch right here is going to be a matter of weeks to take profits. But the problem is, we're not going to know when that time comes. And if you measure, guys, this right here is, let's say the average person, that's 33 cents. This right here is almost $3. That's only a 10x. That explosive move is a 10x. Yeah, these people made thousands of X's. But the point about that is, Matic was absolutely, and Solana, two of the biggest, fastest horses that launched in the last bull run. But if you look at where the average retail person bought, which would be in prices like this, right? That's where the average people buy, right? Very few people get these bottoms. Guys, they're lucky to have had the opportunity to just get a 10x, which that absolutely terrifies me. But what it tells me is, take profits, guys, or you're going to become the profits. Get aggressive with your profits, because if you don't, it's going to go over like a blink of an eye. And guess who's going to make the money? The early investors, the influencers that pump their bags because they were consultants or they got the ICOs. They're going to dump on you. Meanwhile, they're going to be telling you, oh, it's going to change the world. This is the best ever, da, da, da. No, it's not. They're all basically meme coins, is the way, in my opinion, is the way we should look at it. Now, one day, whether it's the next bull run or the one after that, we will have a utility bull run. And quite frankly, it would be a lot easier to pick winners and losers if they had to have merit. But right now, they just need a sexy story, some influencers behind them, and a lot of hype. That's pretty much it. So the point of this whole video, guys, if you never listen to me about anything, and it's not financial advice, just common sense. If you don't take your profits, you're going to be like most of my coaching clients that have went through a bull run and watched their bag explode, maybe even to life-changing gains. And then they watch it all come back. Why? Because they believe the hype. And I want you to think about something. when you HODL, think about what you think that chart looks like. And then you're thinking not only that, you think it looks like that. That's what the average person that buys ICP, XRP, Luna back in the day, pretty much anything outside of Bitcoin, they think that's the future. That's the future. It's not, guys. It's nothing like that. The odds are the chart is going to look like that, or it's going to look like that when it's all said and done. And worst case scenario, it looks like that. So guys, hodling is a mistake in my opinion. Now let's think about something else. I'm going to give you an example, and I'm not harping on XRP. A lot of people say, oh, if XRP wouldn't have got indicted by the SEC and sued, oh, it would have made a new all-time high. Well, Ripple dumped 13.6 billion tokens on this little run-up. I think that had something to do with it. But even if that was true, it proves my point. How risky is it to hold something? If they would have sold in the bull run and waited, they could have bought all back in here, and they took out the risk of the SEC. Because guys, no matter how phenomenal the tech is today, it's not probably going to be that good 10 years from now. I don't care which project it is. I just watched a video about a project building on HBAR. It changes the game on everything. It blows me away how far advanced, and it just knocked out probably 20 competitors with this one project that's being built, and no one can just run out and duplicate it. It's fascinating, and I'm going to do a video on that. But my point is, you got regulation risk and technology risk of any project. And believe me, that bear run, that 2-3 years of watching, tech can explode, regulation can explode. I mean, that risk just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know anyone that bought anything outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum and is glad they never sold. Take Bitcoin and Ethereum out, name me a token that anyone is glad they didn't sell after 2 or 3 bull runs. There isn't any, because why would they? Not to mention, do you know what it does to your brain to watch? Let's just say a person had $10,000 and watch it go to 120,000 and watch it go all the way back down to 17,000. And now if it comes back, you got a 3, 4, 5 year wait. Guys, I say that with love. Anyway, I know I've ranted on, but I think everyone needed to hear that. That being said, if you need some help understanding when to sell, how to dollar cost average out, how to dollar cost average in, how to organize your portfolio, whatever, I do one-on-one coaching. It's only $250 for 3 Zoom calls or phone calls. I think it'll help you a lot. Whether you take me up or not, do 2 things for me. Please get a plan to take profits, and then get an overall plan. What is your plan from here to the end of the bull run? If you're going to hodl, that's fine. I would suggest put it in a cold wallet and never look at it for the next bull run or whenever, 10 years. But for the life of me, when people want price predictions of, where's this going to be in 2030? It's probably not going to be. And I'm going to say one more thing, guys. And I know this sounds negative, but you got to understand your risk. And this isn't FUD, it's reality. This is a big boys game. And just think about this, guys. Every wealthy influencer I know, and I'm starting to meet a lot of them, they all sold. They don't hodl, right? The guys that were in Bitcoin 10 years ago and XRP 10 years ago, yeah, they may still own some XRP, but you can bet your butt that's Lambo right there. And if you bought any of this, that's 7 years of torture. And here's another thing, guys. When you're waiting around, like think about this. Let's say you bought XRP anytime in this. 5, 6, 7 years go by, and then you catch a 10x even. Wow, that's about what you could have done if you just doubled your money every year in crypto, which is pretty simple, right? That's nothing special. So there is a cost to holding a position. When you tie up money, you could have put that money in something else. You could have put it in real estate. You could have put it in Bitcoin, right? If you don't think something's going to outperform Bitcoin, which nothing outperforms Bitcoin in the long term, take your profits. That's all I got to say, guys. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. Hit that like button. Share with like-minded people. People need to understand how to not get wrecked and take profits. But either way, come back and be part of this community. Take care, guys.